Hey there, my name is Michael Greenwood, and I'm doing these series of videos to help you to understand certain concepts in business. Um, you might have just started your business, you might be thinking about starting a business, you might be well established, you might have heard of these terms or not, but these are free service models in a service delivery business for B2B, basically, or business to business. Um, So we've got done for you, done with you, and DIY. I'm going to kind of compare and contrast and talk about the pros and cons of each. Um, and then I'm also going to talk about some approaches to each one of these, but also which ones you should or maybe should not at a certain point in your business journey, should you run it or not. And perhaps what is going to give you the best chance of getting cash flowing, if that's kind of you. It should always be a key concern in business, but if you've got no cash and you've maybe just started your business and you're quite undercapitalised, then I'm going to recommend which one I think you'd be better off starting with. So, quick disclaimer: I'm not going to take any responsibility if you try any of this and it kind of fails. I mean, lots of businesses fail every year, and there's a ton of variables. And one of the reasons is actually just not taking action, not and actually just quitting early. A few feet from gold kind of thing. What I would say is business is rock hard, but business is really tough, especially when you're trying to spin more plates than you need to. So I would say especially if you're new to business, I would pick one and stick with it until it becomes like super profitable, and you get it to a certain level before you even think about one of the others. There's no way that I would recommend starting with all three of these models, because you're just going to be trying to charge forward on multiple fronts and really end up nowhere. If you consider your time has been like 100 units, 100%, and you're trying all these three things, then you can only really put like 33.3% recurring into each one. So you're only going to get like a third the way forward. Really, with one, you're better off getting 100% of the way forward and to the next level than leveling up, because leveling up usually happens in kind of growth spurts as well in a business. So it's not like kind of truly like smoothly incremental. It's more like jumps to the next level. You kind of crack something, and you've been kind of studying something and trying something out and iterating, and then you crack that thing, and then the other bits join up as well together, and it all makes sense, and you have like a bit of a paradigm shift, and then you see things kind of further into the distance, as well as looking on like a maybe longer time horizon as well. You start to figure out how things really work when you planted seeds, and then they're coming to fruition, and you're doing things today, and they might not be working, but you keep putting the inputs into there. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump onto the first slide, which is done for you, and then we're going to explain what that is, the pros and cons, and then I'm going to jump onto the other two, and then kind of do a bit of a comparison as I go through. So, done for you. This is a model of service delivery, basically, where just imagine, I don't know what business you've got. I don't know if you've got a business, but let's say I'll use the example of a videographer. So you can provide videography service completely done for you for a client, and the client, besides having to sign off the videos that you provide, other than that, all they have to do is kind of have that initial meeting, pay some money, and I hope you get like an upfront, at least half of it upfront or something like that, and then sign off the assets, and that's pretty much it. That's their time commitment. So they might be cash rich but time poor, and they're not going to go and learn videography and buy the equipment themselves, because it'll be kind of doesn't make sense in terms of cost benefit anyway, because they're not, unless they're going to film a bunch of videos, it's usually not worth a client getting an in-house team for videography, and buying equipment in and things like that. So they're better off buying your services. Plus, you'll know how to use the camera. You'll understand camera angles, color grading, the audio, lighting, stuff like that. So they're not just buying the equipment anyway, they're buying your expertise and your strategic guidance as well. So they're coming to you with a problem. You're being an expert consultant, and you're also doing the work as well. So you're helping them with the strategy, and you're helping them you're creating the video for them as well, and they're signing off at each stage of the project. So completely full service, minimal in terms of the client's time, but in terms of money, the client is paying for the service. So it's kind of they've got the money to throw at the problem. From your point of view, it's kind of easy to sell this. I mean, I'm not saying sales is easy, but once you've built a momentum, you've got your testimonials, and you kind of know what to say on a sales call. It does become it's not as hard as when you first start doing it. So your knowledge increases, your skill, and if you do it properly, your numbers will go up in terms of your conversion rates. So it's kind of easy to sell in that way, as opposed to something like, I don't know, a piece of software or something like that. So a service is definitely easy to sell, whereas it's kind of hard to deliver because it's going to take your time, or you're going to have to pay other people their time. So it's going to take some time to film it. So it might be a day's film and a couple of days editing, maybe a day's pre-production as well. So like 4 days of somebody's time to create the thing. And also you're going to have to think about lots of different things. So like music licenses, you're going to have to think about the color grading, all that kind of thing. So there's lots of different things. So if, as a business owner, as a one-person business, if you were going to train somebody else on that, you'd have to teach them a lot of things to know what you know. So if you were to come up with training manuals or kind of SOPs, so standard operating procedures to actually run each part of that operation, it'd take time to come up with all that stuff. And if you were even going to, because you're a videographer, you could even film yourself doing the thing. So you could film yourself setting up the lights. So then when you start to grow team, if you wanted like a lighting technician, you could show them the video on how you like to, the thing to be set up. So they're a lighting tech, they should know how to do that, but you want to set up in a certain way for your style. So you're teaching them how you do things. Or you might kind of want to teach a complete beginner who's very enthusiastic and very smart and into the films and the movies and stuff like that. And you want to teach them how to film. Or you might want to teach them how to edit as well. But you'll need some kind of training documentation. That is either going to come directly from your head to imparting that information to them, to your new team member, or you can do an hybrid approach and you can kind of show them some videos, kind of like a course, and then you can teach them how to do it. Now actually documenting the done for you model is kind of how a lot of courses are actually born. So a lot of courses are actually born from the SOPs and the service delivery manuals that were a necessity in making the done for you business more efficient. Because, for example, like with my business, if I register a domain name for a web design client, and if I didn't have an SOP all written down for the domain registrars that we use, then I would have to remember it. And even if it's in my head and it's there and I can do it straight away, there's still going to be some inefficiency there because I'm going to have to still think more than if I just followed a guide. So documenting everything that you do, as long as you're doing it the quickest way that you can think of as well. So you don't want to replicate your inefficiencies, and you don't want to pass your inefficiencies on to team members either. So that's pretty key as well. But yeah, the done for you model, it's going to be kind of easy to sell, but then on the back end when you're delivering the service, there's a lot of moving parts, aren't there, when you think about it, done for you, because you're doing everything for that client. And the thing is, from the client's point of view, if they try to do it themselves, they might be able to get to like minimum viable competency in kind of filming themselves. So they'll say, "Oh right, yeah, I don't need Michael with his fancy cameras. I can just use my phone." And yeah, the phones these days, the iPhones, they shoot really nice cinematic images, but do they understand composition? Do they understand what you know? Do they understand when they're putting the titles on, like the foreground, background contrast, the accessibility, kind of conventions with captions and all that kind of thing, and also what goes into the video as well in terms of things like the hook story offer, different types of videos for different parts of the funnel. Every video having a purpose, different styles of videos, and all that kind of thing. They can kind of figure it out and all that kind of thing. But and I think when you get kind of really enterprising clients like that who want to learn it can be good. But then I tend to find that you can be fighting against these kind of clients who might want to kind of micromanage you with the done for you model. And this is where as well that if you're on a discovery call with a client and they can't actually afford your done for you service, because your done for you service is your most expensive model, because you're not only telling the business owner how to do the thing or advising them or taking them through that journey, but you're also doing the implementation as well. So you're doing the strategy, you're disclosing the tactics which have worked for you over clients. So you're giving them like the turnkey solution essentially. Because let's say, well, we just got some really good results for a window film company, 11.4x ROAS, return on ad spend, and so we know we can get results for that kind of company now, and then we can go to a similar business in a non-competing area and offer that thing, and be able to speak with conviction about that. But also, if we have a client who isn't in that particular niche, we still know that there's some similarities to that kind of thing. So, and that's what your client will be the subject matter expert, but at the end of the day, they'll be an expert in what they do. So, if they're smart, they're going to be looking for other expertise. Like, I pay the accountant to do what they do best, the accountancy. I don't start to look. I've got a minimal kind of what I need understanding to be able to know, if they're doing a good job for me, and I've got good instincts as well, and a lot of that is your experience, kind of reminding you that something's right, something's wrong, kind of thing in your subconscious. But at the end of the day, I believe in paying experts to do what they do best, because the videographer who's an expert, they'll have a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge, because they live and breathe that thing. So why not tap into their knowledge and then spend your time as a business owner, talking from the client's perspective. They should really do what they do best and let you do what you do best. There is an higher cost to the done for you model. Obviously, like I said, you're doing the strategy, talking the tactics as well, and doing the operational. So that's the done for you model. So let's jump on to the next one and see how that compares. So the done with you model, this is more like consulting, I'd call this, and perhaps coaching as well. So you get a client, you you find out what they need initially, find out if you can help them, like you should do with any client, so do discovery. And then they're at point A, like where they are now, and they're at point B, and you help them along the journey. So it's usually less expensive than the done for you model, because you're basically helping them with the strategy and some tactics around that, but you're not actually doing the thing. You're not actually doing the day-to-day implementation for them. And you might be checking what they're doing. You might be maybe doing a bit of quality control as well, but it's not kind of operational level quality control. It's kind of looking at some high level KPIs with them and that kind of thing, and helping to put systems and processes in place to change the business for the better. So it could be it's taking them on a journey and helping them along the way, almost like holding their hand as they giving them more confidence to do more and more, like you would do with a team member. And the benefit to the client, if they are particularly enterprising and they do want to learn to do it themselves, then this can be quite a good model, because it gives them, it's almost like teach a man to fish, really, rather than do it for them. But so it takes more of the client's time. However, it ends up, it takes more of the time, but kind of the trade-off is that they're paying you less money. So you're getting paid less money, but it is taking up less of your time as well. So it's a fair exchange if you work it right. So that's the done with you model, and then next you've got DIY, or do it yourself, which essentially is giving. It's essentially a course, really, and then perhaps probably the best thing about a lot of the courses I bought is the community itself as well, and then the course becomes kind of the documentation behind the answers to the questions that are asked in the community. And then there's a feedback loop as well for, right, let's add this new module because this question's been asked quite frequently, so that's an FAQ. And then you kind of put the definitive answer into the as an extra course or course module. But yeah, this is really for the perhaps for the clients who maybe they can't afford your done for you service. Maybe they can't afford your done with you service as well. But they want to buy a course, and they want to. They might be usually time rich and cash poor as well. So there might be a startup, and they want all the knowledge in one place, and they want a support network as well, which might not be you and your team all the time, but it could be a community, or they're buying into, so like a Facebook group, or school. So it can be quite cost effective for the client as well, because they're just paying a chunk of money. It might be monthly, or it might just be a one-off fee, and they're buying into like that ecosystem basically, where they're going to get that support. So that's what's in it for the client, but the client's going to have to put a lot of time into this and DIY it, really, as the name suggests. But like I said, they're going to be paying less money. So the thing is, this all boils down to that you're going to pay. You're going to pay for the thing getting done with your time or your money, or kind of a mixture of both. There is still a bit of time with the done for you, but from your perspective, delivering the service, you want to really make this as turnkey as possible and as efficient as possible, so you make as much profit as possible, but also the customer gets the best service. Because what tends to happen with agencies providing a done-for-you model is the more clients that they take on, the the kind of poorer the service gets if you don't watch it, because you've got to set on more people. You've got to maybe wind down the lead gen while you set people on. So you've really got to have a clear plan and start with the end in mind, and have a structure in mind as to the team that you're going to build out. Get your SOPs. The SOP is absolutely vital to this. Your systems, processes. I always say that obviously when you're first starting out, you're going to be on your own. You're going to be wearing multiple hats. You're going to be kind of spread quite thin. You're going to be charging forward on multiple fronts, and you're going to be working a lot of hours and overtime until you figure out how to leverage other people's time and how to leverage automation as well. So my suggestion to make this thing as efficient as possible would be to actually be very self-aware and self-critical as well as how you're spending your time and protect your time. So I will be writing down what I'll be doing every 15 minutes, half an hour, at least every hour. So what I've just done for the last hour, and I tend to work in work blocks. So got this off Amazon, set it to 90 minutes. I'll do a 90-minute work block, 15 minutes break, and then do quite a few of those in a day. And you might find a method that works for you. So working distraction free is one of my kind of key things that is like a non-negotiable for me. And in terms of what you're doing with your time, protecting your time, you'll be looking at what is something that you're doing, that's you're actually working on the business, and obviously you're going to be working in the business quite a lot on operational tasks if you're just on your own for now. But as you're doing your audit of your time, you want to be looking for things to eliminate completely. So some things that you shouldn't be doing, it could be scrolling social media mindlessly every 5 minutes, because you're drawn to it, or you feel that the task is quite hard, so you're kind of getting distracted. You're not really working as focused as you could be. So eliminate any of that, and also if you've got something that you're doing that you can't eliminate, I'd say the next thing is to look to automate it as much as possible. So let's say that you're not using Zapier, for example, and you're not pulling some data in from one source to another, and you're actually doing that manually. You're logging into one account, getting it, logging in another, but there's actually some way you can bridge that and make it automatic and put that into a Google Sheet or something. Then that can be automated. And I think the mistake a lot of people make is take on team too early when they actually could have just made it super efficient by automating. For example, if you're doing some cold calling and you need to get data, and you're getting a client list and you're checking that the email address works and you're checking that the web address works, checking that they've got, maybe you're offering social media management services as a done for you service, and you're checking that if they've posted, in the last year, if they've posted recently. If they've not posted, then you're going to contact them. Or maybe you're offering videography and maybe they're posting a lot of images, but they're posting no video, so you want to create some video for them. You want to pitch that to them. So those kind of things that can be actually cleansing that data could be. There are some bits of software that you can actually use to automate that process. Clay.com is quite good at that, to actually call it data enrichment, actually get more records, test that the web address works and all that kind of thing. Not necessarily check if they've posted recently, that if you know of a way of doing that, please comment below. But you've got to decide if you need to hire somebody to do that yet, or you can get kind of some tool to do that. And the thing is, with AI, it's becoming. I mean, these days, if you've got a chat function on your website, do you actually need somebody operating that? A human being operating that, or can you use AI for that? So that's the kind of question. So yeah, the done for you model. It's quite easy to start as well. So it's quite easy to start, but it's quite challenging to deliver for and get results for on a consistent basis, and that is because it will at scale require people to help you with it. You can't get automation to do media buying, for example, and you can't get automation to. You can automate some parts of video editing to an extent, but even when you automate adding the captions, it gets it wrong. Some of the time you've got to go in and at least QA it to make sure that the quality is up to standard. So, but it can certainly save you time, and if it can get you halfway there or 70% of the way there, like for example, ChatGPT putting a privacy policy statement together. But you should have a template for things like that as a web designer. But ChatGPT can help you to put the original privacy policy together, for example, and then obviously you could then check it. So yeah. So on to the kind of the comparison. If I were just starting out, which one would I kind of start with? I would start with done for you. I mean, some people actually just start with a DIY model and create a course, but the problem is they don't have the credibility. So I like to buy courses from people who've actually done the thing. I'm kind of not too interested in reading books by academics because they've not really, they can talk the talk about it in meticulous detail, but they've not actually been in the field and done that thing, a lot of the time. So when I read a non-fiction book about something, it wants to be from a business owner who's done that thing. I want to learn from people who've done what I want to do, really. So I think the ultimate model really is to do the done for you first, and then you can add on the done with you. I've got a few clients who I completely do everything for them in terms of the marketing, and we've created various turnkey solutions which they can basically just plug and play and get them up and running within 48 hours if they send us the information with the onboarding. We can offboard them quickly as well. We've got SOPs for that, and the thing is, that's what you need. You need good onboarding experience, good offboarding experience, because when a client cancels, and you will get churn, and obviously you want to keep that number as low as possible in terms of client cancellations. But sometimes, even when you get good results for clients, they cancel anyway because there might be an inexperienced client where they think the grass is greener and they don't actually know what good results look like. So you're going to get churn anyway. So what I would suggest is offboard them with the same smile on your face as you did when you onboarded them, and thank them for the business. And then you never know, they might come back if you've still got a slot for them. If you run a business where you're helping local businesses and it's quite exclusive and you can only work with one per area, then they're going to have to go on a waiting list if they want to come back. But I've had clients come back to us when they've jumped ship and then decided that the grass wasn't greener. So yeah, they're done with you. That's what I notice. Again, I'm just thinking if I were to um, hire somebody to consult on the business, I would want somebody who would at least work with other clients and got them results. So again, it comes back to this done for you. It's because it's easier to sell. You can get clients results and then have your case studies and portfolio, and then you can go into this done with your model. Now the thing is, what I'll say about this is the done for you model. You're going to have an higher caliber of client, so you're going to have clients who, for example, if you're doing lead generation, digital marketing for a client, they want to have the sales process down to a T, really. So if you're only doing lead generation, let's say you're running Google Ads for their business, and then their sales team is no good, or they're not getting back or not following up, then they're going to say they're not going to get results, even though your leads have been good. I'm just thinking back. I think the clients who are kind of the pain are the ones who don't follow up, or they'll maybe follow up once or twice and think that's acceptable for in terms of follow up, because if you've ever done any lead generation, you'll know that the money's in the follow up, not just in that initial. You've got to follow up. People forget that they've reached out. You've got to follow up quickly. I say get back to them within 5 minutes with some kind of automated email, text message, something like that. When somebody's come through, answer the phone. Answer the phone after 3 rings. Things like that. That were one of the selling points of an hosting company we used once. They got taken over, and then it's no longer 3 rings. And I remember that because I remember being sold that over 10 years ago, and it was one of the selling points. I used to test it. I used to phone support, and it were 3 rings, and you got through. It were amazing. They got taken over, and then it rings 15 times or 10, 15 times, 20 times sometimes. So yeah, deliver on your promises, do a good job, say what you're going to do, then do the thing, say what you're going to do, then do the thing, and rinse and repeat. And then you'll become more in demand anyway, your company, and then you can start to consult more, where you're giving strategic direction. And then I'd say for the clients who can't afford you, I think the course model is pretty good, and it's almost like it could be because you've been almost like creating the course as you've been doing the done for you model. You can start to, because essentially your SOPs can inform the course. It's almost like you're creating the SOPs for you and your team to be able to deliver a better solution, and basically something that's turnkey, where you know exactly if you do this and this within tolerance, they are going to get results within a certain range. If you've if you've done your discovery properly, and if you only work with clients who are a good fit for this model. Whereas with DIY, it's gonna be a lot. You're gonna get clients who have got more time on their hands. That usually means that they haven't got as much money. That usually means that they're not as well off. So they may be earlier in the business, or maybe they've been kind of just repeating the same 12 months again and again in the business, and not really learned or grown that much, or maybe done the hard things and come out of the comfort zone to change, or maybe they don't want to change. Maybe they like doing courses, but you'll tend to get more onto this model, but it's kind of harder to sell. because you've got to do a lot more at the front end. The top of the funnel, where um, you basically you're basically saying what people are going to say. Why should I listen to you? Why should I do your course? And then you can say, look, well, we've got all these results, and we're helping these clients as well. So these are the three models. Which should you do? I think if you're starting a business, the one to start with is the done for you, because it's easy to sell. I think you've got to really work hard to get results. It's hard to scale, because you've got to build it from the ground up. You've got to build your SOPs. You've got to you've got to market. You've got to sell. You've got to do the service delivery, and it's a tough business. An agency is a tough business. Don't get me wrong. It's not an easy ride. I mean it's I would say it's one of the toughest models, really, done for you. Service delivery agency, like marketing agency. I would say it's even harder when you're offering a range of services. If you're not niching, it becomes really difficult, with lots of operational drag, lots of operational intensity. If you're offering a range of services on top of that, it becomes kind of excruciatingly hard to manage everything, because you need an SOP for everything. So I'd say niching down on the range of services, and actually starting to specialise in something that works together. This is where your turnkey comes in, really, because I could draw a map of how our services fit together, and I do for clients, just to let them know what to expect and manage the expectations, and then we can draw some KPIs up. Like, for example, in terms of organic SEO, that takes a while. So you plant those seeds and they come to fruition, kind of like a long time from now. And then you've got your Google ads, Facebook ads, which are much quicker to start to penetrate the market. As long as you've got a good product market fit and you're differentiating and the creative's good, which is all the more important these days, then it's generally quicker than SEO. But the thing is, what should you be doing together? What complements each other? For example, like organic, getting the company out there on social media and Google helps the outbound efforts, such as reaching out with DMs or reaching out on LinkedIn. Like your sales navigator, and also your cold calling. So if you cold call a prospect, they're going to look you up online. So you better be online if you're cold calling, or you're just going to have like lower success. You can be a really good closer, and you can get business without an online presence, but it's just tougher. It's just harder. You're just going to get like fewer sales. If you compare both. So what I say is if you're starting out at Google Done For You, you're going to get money in more quickly with that, but it's going to be harder to deliver the service. But over on the DIY side of things, once you've built the thing to built a minimally viable product, as in built out a range of courses, and you've got your community as well. And your community is like more important than the course, in my opinion. Like I said, the community gives you the feedback to inform the course, and then you can build out more modules, and just keep it coming and keep it and build it into pretty much the ultimate guide, really. And it's kind of never ending, because the other thing with the DIY model, it can be challenging, especially if, let's get specific, if you do SEO if that's what you do a done for you SEO model, and you've got an SOP for everything like backlinks, so backlink building, technical SEO, an SEO like you have to have an SOP on how to add alt text to images. Like all the rationale behind it, why you do this, why you do that, because you've got to teach your team why, rather than just like procedurally this. You've got to give some context to it. So there's a lot of different things to SEO, and that's why you've got an agency and they provide SEO. Google has this, and this. There's a lot of different specialisms. So when you're building a team out for that, you've got a lot of things going on with that. But yeah, a done for you model, good to start out with. But then when it comes to the DIY, that's like the you can sell that to a lot more people, but because it's less expensive. But then reaching those people and then convincing them that your course is worth the money, especially as you're dealing with an audience, you've got to remember that you're dealing with an audience who has less money. Whereas your done for you service, you're selling it to people who've got more money, and proportionately, when you do the thing for them, you're going to make them more money, because let's say you're doing it for the turnover 2 million, and you increase them by 10% with your done for you service, then you're increasing them by 200 grand. So that's where you can charge, your 20, 30 grand for that. Whereas DIY, the people who are doing the DIY course, they're not the people with lots of money and very little time, because people who've got more money, they actually want to buy the time back, so they'll just pay you to do the thing. Whereas people who do the courses, they've got more time on their hands to be able to do the course and less money. So when they implement what's in the course, they'll make less money. They're not going to make necessarily, if they make 10%, they're going to have they'll make a bigger percentage. Let's say that your course is, even if it's £100 a month, if it's £100 a month your course, $100 or whatever, and in 6 months they've made the first 10k a month, then they've made, and in 6 months they've paid 600 and made 10k. They've like pretty much nearly 20x'd, so 2,000% ROI. Whereas these guys have made 10%, but they've made more money. So that's the difference, really. And in terms of percentage of people who actually take the action on the course as well, that's another story. So I hope you found this interesting. Certainly been enjoyable to make this. And yeah, if you want more videos like this, please drop a comment. Let me know what you'd like to me to make one video on. And take care. Like, comment, subscribe and share. And I'll see you next time.